Guys, just eat a balanced diet. You've heard those words a million times. Just eat a balanced diet, they say. But they give you no specifics. They give you no guidance into what exactly a balanced diet is. And is a balanced diet the same for everybody? Should everybody eat the same balanced diet? No, of course not. Balance for you is completely different than balance for me. Balance is all relative, okay? What's hot to me is not hot to you. What's cold to you isn't cold to me, right? So it's all relative. So, for instance, if you're an office person, you work in an office and you sit for a large majority of your day, balanced for you is going to be completely different than balance for, say, like a high-end athlete, a CrossFit person who's exercising many times per week. So I'm here to not cause more confusion, even though that's probably what I'm initially going to do. I'm here to clear things up because it's really getting to me. It's getting ridiculous. It's absurd, and I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of the confusion. I like to break things down and make things as simple and as easy to follow as possible, because then that makes me a better coach and a better trainer. So when it comes to diet and balance, I think that people get caught up with trends, and the most recent trend is eating a higher fat diet. Now, that very well may be appropriate for someone out there. Doesn't mean that it's appropriate for you. Same thing with high carb or medium carb or paleo or zone or vegetarianism, etc. These things can be used as tools, but they can't be used as blanket statements for everybody. So let me give you an example. We'll just use myself because I'm a egotistical piece of shit. No, we'll use myself because I know myself, I know my body, and I can explain it to you very, very easily. So basically, I work out roughly 6 to 8 times per week. Sometimes more, sometimes less. Sometimes it's very intense. Sometimes it's not so intense. The short of the long of it is, I'm a very active person, right? So what does that translate into my diet? Well, you guessed it. I need to eat more, obviously. So I'm about 6'2", 200 pounds. Right off the bat, I have a high metabolism to begin with. So disregarding all my activity, I have to eat a lot of food just to maintain status quo. So add in that activity, and now my calorie amount just skyrocketed. I have to eat a lot of calories, and I hate using that word because again, calories are all relative, and maybe that's another video and another point in time. But for now, I have to eat a lot of fucking food. So 6 to 8 times I'm working out. I'm highly active all the time. I'm moving around, whether it's with clients and when I say 6 to 8 workouts, I mean personal workouts. So sometimes I made whole mitts, boxing mitts for people. So I don't even count that. But for someone like you or maybe someone else out there, that may count. Bottom line is, my calorie intake is much higher than somebody who sits in an office. So for instance, say, I don't know, I like I said, I hate using this word calories, but I'll throw it out there. Say I'm eating 4,500 calories a day, 45 to 5,000 per day, right? If somebody that was sitting on their ass all day with a low metabolic rate, right, a low genetic tolerance for carbohydrates, obviously wasn't moving around very much and kind of just like went to their job, came home. Like, you're not a bad person. I don't consider you a bad person, but you go to your job, you do your job, you come home and then you kind of hang out with your family and maybe do other work or whatever. Maybe light walking and stuff like that. Which really you shouldn't even count into your activity level because that's like part of being human. But hey, whatever you gotta do. But anyway, so I mean, that's what you're doing. You're not really doing much activity. If you eat 4,500 calories or a diet similar to what I eat, you get really fat really fast, and you probably feel like shit. So that's not appropriate for someone in your circumstance. So really, in the morning when I wake up, I have a cup of coffee. I'll mix a tablespoon of coconut oil in there. I like to blend it up, and then what I'll have is usually a can of wild salmon. I'll mix in a tablespoon of olive oil, and then I'll put in either a plantain or a sweet potato with that meal, and then also a green vegetable, kale, broccoli, spinach, something like that. Saute it up in a pan, maybe some garlic and coconut oil in there. So roughly, I don't know, 500 to 600 calories in that meal. Keeps me full. But why the carbohydrates in the morning? Well, I'm usually hitting workouts in the morning. So I train jiu-jitsu in the morning sometimes, and I need those carbs. Or maybe the night prior I worked out intensely and I need to replenish my carbohydrates. Like I said, I have a high genetic tolerance to carbohydrates. I could eat a lot of carbs and not gain weight. In fact, I actually get more lean when I eat more carbs. I'm not saying this is going to work for you, but this is just an example. So, and by the way, when I say carbs, I mean real food carbs. I'm not talking about boxed carbs or non-food food. Okay, so we're talking about real natural foods that you find in nature, and not something that comes from a plant that comes in a box or has a fancy marketing wrapper on it, because that is not food. So if you eat that, I don't care how active you are, it's still going to have negative health consequences. But at least if you're eating real food carbs, you're getting all the positives. For instance, if you eat plantains or sweet potatoes, yes, they'll have about 50 grams of carbs in them, give or take. But there's fiber in there, there's minerals, there's vitamins, there's all these. It's the constituents of the food is more than just and an insulin spike. So which is going to make you fat, and which is kind of what happens when you eat processed carbohydrates like Lucky Charms or a donut or even white rice, right? So that sugar that you're consuming, or that carbohydrate you're consuming that turns into sugar, is going to bam hit your bloodstream, spike your insulin levels, and now you're going to get fat. You're going to store body fat, and it happens very quickly, right? So the difference between a good carb and a bad carb, aside from it being natural and being versus unnatural, is how fast your blood sugar rises when you eat the carbohydrates. And when you eat a healthy carbohydrate, a natural carbohydrate, your blood sugar rises slowly and comes back down slowly. When you eat a processed carbohydrate, it rises rapidly and makes you fat. Okay, so that's that. So now meal two. Meal two is, by the way, I hate chicken. I absolutely hate it. I don't know if it's whether from its the bodybuilding days when I ate a lot of chicken breast and egg whites and stuff like that. But I hate chicken, so I try to avoid it. But if I have to, I eat it. I don't do shakes. I don't do protein shakes. I don't eat any dairy. Causes inflammation for me. Maybe not for you. Again, this is highly individual. So that being said, meal two is usually some form of lamb. I love lamb. Lamb is my favorite meat. Again, I don't know if this is a genetic thing, but it's personal preference. I fucking love lamb. Lamb is awesome. It's fatty, it's delicious, and it comes right down. So I do lamb. I usually do a ½ pound to a pound of lamb. This is definitely my biggest meal. This is, again, post-workout usually. If I didn't work out, I'll do a ½ pound. If I'm not feeling that hungry, I'll do a ½ pound. I'll do a sweet potato, or I'll do purple potatoes. I'll do plantains. Those are my three favorite starchy carbohydrates, starchy plants. Beets, also another favorite of mine. So I'll do something like that, some spinach, some beet greens, some broccoli, anything that's green to mix in with there, because you want those micronutrients. So I do that for lunch. That's my biggest meal. And then, throughout the day, I don't like to snack too much, but when if I need something besides water or tea, I'll grab some fruit, some apples, some figs. I don't really like bananas. Mangoes I love. I'm pretty picky with my snacks and my foods and stuff. Blueberries, berries, raspberries. I hate blackberries. Again, individual thing. I just like certain things. I hate certain things. So meal three is usually, you guessed it, chicken. I hate chicken, like I said. Well, sometimes I'll do chicken. I'll do sardines. I'll do turkey breast or steak or whatever I'm doing. You know, it's something along those lines. Pretty. I wouldn't say this is a high protein diet, but it's also not a low protein diet. It's probably like a medium range. Um, Again, personal preference, but it's applicable to me. So I do steak, chicken, or sardines for dinner, or salmon or something like that. Again, I hit it with the carbs again. I do I usually go higher carb for the last meal, which is I do it for a specific reason, because for the night I'm replenishing my glycogen throughout the day. I'm replenishing my carb levels throughout the day, right? Because I burn so much during my workout. Plus, my resting metabolic rate is very, very high because I'm always moving. So now at night I add in more carbs for that continued glycogen replenishment, but also so I can go to bed easier, right? When you eat more carbs, they put you to sleep. So I usually hit 2 plantains. And that just puts me right out. Just gets me in the relaxed parasympathetic state where I'm kind of just chilling out and I'm ready to go to bed. You know, it gives me time to maybe read something or just kind of wind down, right? And then that is it. That's my diet. That's what I do. I'm a again, highly active athlete, highly active person, high metabolic rate, very fast metabolism. So again, this is not for everybody. This is balanced for me. This is balanced for someone with my type of lifestyle, my type of genetics, my type of carb tolerance, etc. So guys, if you enjoyed this video, please like this video. It's going to really help me. Share it with people if you want to share it with your friends or your family, and then subscribe to my YouTube channel. More videos coming at you, and then I'll see you soon. All right, later, peace.